React Radio. React Radio. Behind the mind, we want to hear from people that find the time to think and create these fine designs and then turn them into real product lines. So call us up, Behind the Mind. We want to hear from people that find the time to think and create these fine designs and then turn them into real product lines. So call us up now, movers and shakers and decision makers, man. True innovators that can elevate us higher than the type of people that really can inspire, man. They get it poppin', turn 40 and retire, man. Movers and shakers, man. Decision makers, man. True innovators that can elevate us higher than the type of people that really can inspire, man. They get it poppin', turn 40 and retire, man. Movers and shakers, man. Decision makers, man. True innovators that can elevate us higher than the type of people that really can inspire, man. They get it poppin', turn 40 and retire, man. Behind the mind, we wanna hear from people that find the time to think and create these fine designs and then turn them into real product lines. So call us up, Behind the Mind. We wanna hear from people that find the time to think and create these fine designs and then turn them into real product lines. So call us up now. React Radio.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. You're tuning to Behind the Mind radio show on We Act Radio. Anthony, what is it? What's today?
It's February 5th.
And?
Black History Month.
And?
It's our 9th anniversary.
It's our 9th anniversary on We Act Radio. We thank
Which
everybody.
is why we have our special shirts on, you guys.
See our shirts. If we lean back a little bit, you see our Behind the Mind radio.
I'm trying to lean back a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's been 9 seasons and I'm so grateful and happy for it. I thank you, Karen.
And you too. Yeah.
We have our I designed this, by the way, if nobody knows. But we are going to go right in, but it's our 9th anniversary. What would you like to share, Karen?
Well, what I want to do is first thank 19 Prints, Reggie, who did the shirts for us. We want to put out there. He's a Black-owned business here in the Washington, D.C. area, so we want to thank him for giving us these wonderful shirts as well. And if you all look him up, you can support him too as a business as well. And then thank everybody who's been tuning in. We have people who've been listening to the show since we started the show. And so I want to thank them for tuning in every Friday and supporting us in that way.
Exactly. There's so many people that support us, Karen. When I posted it on my personal page, there's so many people that are listening to us right now. There's probably at least 60 people that liked what I posted on Facebook, and they said that they were going to listen in, and then they were going to share it with somebody else. So who knows how many people are listening to us right now? And I love it, and I thank each and every one of you guys for being here and listening to me and Karen. This is so important to us, and I really, really like you. Thank you. Thank you.
So if you are listening to the show, comment in Twitter. You can do it on Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms that we're on, and let us know that you're listening to us live, because we're going to talk about film and TV. And the person that's on with us today, he's visited the show the most in the 9 seasons. It's either his 5th or 6th time. He'll give me some hand signals and let me know. But he has visited. This is his 6th time. So he has been on more than any guest that we've had. So for me, it felt like the best thing to do is to bring back Tim Gordon, who is a film and TV critic. He's also done the Black Reel Awards, which he founded. And now he has a Lakeview Film Festival that he also founded.
And the reason... The reason why we have him on in February, because what is it? What is February?
It's it starts award season.
It starts award season, and it's also Black History Month, right? So that's why we like to have him here to do both of those things and say what he likes, what he didn't like, what he didn't go to see, all that stuff. So I'm very, very excited to have Tim on.
And Tim is always right about these movies. He hasn't steered us wrong about anything. Tim Gordon, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
How's everybody? Happy anniversary to you wonderful people.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's go into the first question. 1 year later, talk about film, and you talked about this a little bit when we were setting up a little earlier. Talk about film and TV and COVID-19. How has that affected you or not affected you, and what are you doing to pivot your current business platform? How does that work?
And how has it affected the industry?
That's a lot.
Because it has seriously affected the industry.
Which one of those y'all want me to take first?
Take with the industry.
I asked a lot of questions. So take one by one. Let's go.
How has it affected me? My plug came out. It's been interesting because we've had to transition on the fly, which basically means when the pandemic first hit and we shut everything down in March, I remember it took me 3 months in order to really understand what I was seeing, because I knew that this was going to be a long-term sort of a situation. And I remember going to a screening of a movie in late February and thinking that's the last time I'm going to be back in the theater for a minute. Now, subsequently, I actually did go back for one movie, which I will not name, that they forced us to go and watch in a theater, which was a very strange experience in August. But it has changed the industry in amazing ways, because now that you no longer have the theatrical aspect, that people can actually go to theaters in major cities. I know there's still some theaters that are open periodically or sporadically during in the country, but for the majority of people, it has become kind of a home streaming kind of a lifestyle. If you own Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, Hulu, that's primarily the delivery model for how studios have gotten films out to consumers right now. And everybody has had to evolve and change. Critics have had to understand that we now live in a world where we can watch everything at home with screening links. The audience has adapted because now they're flooded with more content now than they've had ever in their lifetime. I mean, people can watch movies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the current business model. Studios have had to make the adjustment. You've had decisions by Warner Brothers, which now has tied their entire 2021 schedule to HBO Max. So their movies are released simultaneously in theaters and on streaming services platform the same day. Disney Plus has emerged as a huge player now, because now with all Star Wars and Pixar and Marvel, they have a distribution platform that they can get work out. So it has changed the model. We've had to watch the model evolve and change. And now with film, in addition to that, with the distribution models, we now, as you said earlier, we're in award season. So now, instead of having a 12-month calendar, as we normally would go from January to December, this year is January to the following February. And it is just, everybody's just had to evolve and transition into this new reality. And for some people, it has been very challenging. For me, I've found it somewhat challenging, but it's exciting at the same time, because we're making stuff up as we go along. And I think that's kind of the fun of all of this right now.
Okay, wonderful.
I don't know if I answered your question. I just was rambling there.
No.
Karen's giving me the look. I don't know if I answered that.
Karen,
you answered it. You answered it.
Do you have any follow-up questions?
No, you answered it.
So let's go into another question. What is going to drive change in what we see in 2021? You almost answered that in your last statement, Tim. So let's talk about what drive that you want to see in 2021.
Well, 2021 is also another wild card year, because now that we've got a new administration in and they've got a vaccine plan, It's very interesting to me because my gut is telling me that if we can get, because from what I understand, we need 70% of the population vaccinated so that concerts can restart, people can go out to theaters, go back to church, go to restaurants safely and things of that nature. But we're also dealing with, from a medical standpoint, which you also know about all these different strains that are being introduced. And will the vaccines that currently exist on the market, the 2 and the soon to be 3rd one from Johnson & Johnson, will that be able to deal with these new strains? I'm hoping, my expectation is that I'm hoping that between September and October, or I should say August to October, we should have a situation where we should be setting up nicely to try to return back to theaters, trying to return to somewhat of a normal circumstance as it relates to film. And how that looks is we still have an overcrowded 2021 theatrical calendar because so many movies from last year were pushed into this year with the expectation that, folks would be going back to theaters. And it still remains to be seen. Here we're sitting, it's February the 5th. One of the biggest summer films is opening 3 months to this day, and that's Black Widow from Marvel. Will that movie actually open on May the 5th? I'm sorry, I said March. Will that movie actually open on May the 5th? I don't know. I mean, so we still are somewhat in flux, Karen and Anthony, because we don't understand from a health standpoint how we can transition back, or the studios would like to transition audiences back into theaters. And I think that's still the wild card that we're dealing with right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that was one of the questions I had for you about that transition, a return back into theater. Because I know for myself, I'm a serious theater goer. And, it was a difficult adjustment to still kind of move into the house. For those who don't attend the theater in that magnitude or the maximum that I do, I was a weekly attendee. Whatever was coming out, I'm going to see. So it was a little bit of a transition to move into my home on a difference of the screen and everything else, and the feeling that you get being in the theater as well. So it's going to be very interesting how comfortable people will be, like you said, because it can't be. I don't see it being any earlier than 2022.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you got to remember is the longer this thing goes on, the more comfortable people become staying at home. Now, we do have a historical precedent for this, right? So you remember 100 years ago when we had the Spanish flu that actually lasted 3 years from I think it was January of 1918 to December of 1920. But if you also look at history, we had the Harlem Renaissance and the Roaring 20s. So apparently we did bounce back, but it's going to take a minute. It's not as if they're going to go, okay, hey, the theaters are open, everybody back in there. I think it, like you said, 2022, it's going to take into 22, into 23 for a level of comfortability for people to want to go back to theaters, get out their house. Right now, everything is so convenient. And you know what we say about convenience. Once you introduce convenience, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing works out. I'm anxious as well to see what is coming down the pike for all of us.
Yeah, I am too. And like you said, once you get comfortable in the home, and I'm now comfortable in the home watching a movie, I plan on watching Malcolm and Marie later this evening.
Did you read that review?
I did read your review. I did read your review. So I plan on watching that this evening. And so it's become now the same tradition and passed into normally right. Friday I would go to the theater. Now Friday I'm getting prepared to sit in my home.
Exactly. So let's talk about, because you talked about this a little bit before, Tim. When a film goes virtual, because we can't go to theaters right now, when a film goes virtual, what do we lose or what do we gain?
Wow.
When film festivals go virtual. Oh,
with
yes.
film festivals? Well, I mean, in both cases, with film festivals, and it's interesting because I haven't had a chance to talk about this publicly. We had to cancel our festival last year because we got hit, like literally our festival was 4 months after the pandemic, and all of these different platforms that got introduced, none of that stuff was available when we were making a decision on what to do with our festival. So we pushed ours back a year. This year, I've watched so many different or experienced so many virtual film festivals. I think for the most part, that, and I've talked to several of my colleagues who also run festivals, folks are just kind of virtualed out. I mean, we're sitting here now, you're home, we're watching movies at home. The experience of doing a film festival virtually, folks are trying to make it fun, but I am pleading for us to hurry up and get this vaccine plan together so that we can get people back into live film festivals, because despite the fact that I'm going to do one, I'm really not extremely happy with doing a virtual film festival. I'd much rather see people. So that experience, film festivals and films at a theater, you could kind of get away with films at the theater for a little bit if you can provide people an opportunity to watch the movies at home. But film festivals are very interactive. They're usually panels, they're usually happy hours, they get together, filmmakers come in, they want to see audiences. So that experience in itself lends it to more of a kind of community or communal experience, I should say. So it really has affected film festivals in a major way. Sundance, which I know we're going to talk about a little later on, had a 6-day virtual festival this year. I mean, people were able to watch the movies, but as a person who's gone to Sundance multiple times, you'd much rather be in Park City, walking up and down Main Street, running into people, interacting, hanging out at the restaurants, being at the parties. And a lot of that you lose when you're doing things virtually.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Tim. So the human connection is what you're losing, right? You're missing that human connection.
Correct.
From the film being on the screen, you still have people beside you that are looking at it, and you're missing that human connection, right, Tim?
You are. I mean, I think for a lot of these, what we call these huge tent poles or blockbuster films, part of the fun of doing that used to be showing up, here locally at a movie theater. You would run into fellow film critics. You'd have conversations before and after. You would watch a movie and experience the same thing together. There are people laughing. There's some people who are horrified at different things. So now when you're in the house, it's you and whoever you're watching movies with. It's just the two of y'all trying to replicate a theater experience. And it's just very interesting. And like I said, I was always a guy that watched a lot of movies at home anyway. But now I'm watching an overwhelming amount. Like, that's the only option I have. And it's very interesting because I've been running around as a person who had COVID and is now scared of getting COVID again.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
I'm mindful that, despite the fact that I miss going out to restaurants, I miss concerts, I miss plays and theater and movies and all of the activities that are outside activities, I am also mindful that I understand every day that you just kind of take it for what it is. It's like, okay, I really want to be out, but I understand it's not safe to be out right now. So, I will continue to replicate the movie experience and watch 4, 5, 6 movies a day, which drives Karen crazy. But so I just continue to do what I do, man. But
I'm so glad. I have not gotten COVID. Karen has not had COVID, so we're safe. But I'm so glad that you shared that experience, and I know that was not a comfortable thing for you to do or have. But I'm just
glad you're good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it was interesting, man, because around the time I got it, I was online and there were like several people who died like a couple of days before. And I noticed the pattern. I kept seeing people who would put up these messages, oh man, I'm struggling today. And then the next day they was dead. And I was like,
oh God.
So when I got it, I was like, I ain't saying nothing. I went on a media blackout. I was like,
I hear you. Not trying to put nothing out into the atmosphere.
That's really scary, Tim. That's really scary.
It is, and it was, but thank God I got all the mild symptoms. Just the achiness and all that stuff. So I never had any of the respiratory stuff. And every morning I would get up, man, thank God, and be like, man, I'm still here. We're gonna keep pushing through. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, you know, what is the total now? Is it 400,000 or 300 some odd thousand people?
It's over 4.
It's over 400,000 right now.
It's so scary. It's really, really scary.
But that drives a lot of the conversation that we're having right now. Correct. Because, you know, when we're talking about what we miss, we have to understand that there's a underlying reason that all of this is occurring. And people, if they want to continue to work in media, if they want to work in films and television, you got to take those precautions. You got to do what you need to do, and you got to be patient and wait, and just let this situation kind of like wash over us. Because as I said, you know, we are short-sighted, right? We are living in our daily existence. And we think that, you know, oh, man, you know, this is the worst it's ever been. And it's like, no, it's not the worst it's ever been. We've had bad times before. So just like our ancestors were able to kind of fight through it, we will also fight through it as well.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So let's talk about what are some of the Black filmmakers and actors that we should be keeping a watch out for, since you've been working from home. What are some of the people that we should be, the Black filmmakers and actors that we should be looking out for?
So many. That's why I was shaking my head. So many, man. I mean, this has been a historic year for African Americans in film and Black actors and creatives and storytellers. Excuse me. As we're in the midst of award season, you just heard you know, Karen say earlier that she's going to watch Malcolm and Marie a little later on. You got 2 other huge blockbusters coming in the next several weeks. Next week, of course, is going to be Judas and the Black Messiah. Can't wait for you guys to check that out. The story about how Fred Hampton was set up by William O'Neill with Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya. And then a couple of weeks after that, on Hulu, you've got what I think is probably one of the best female performances of the year. Andra Day starring as Billie Holiday in the U.S. versus Billie Holiday. Oh my God, she's amazing in that film. So in addition to that, when you say what other filmmakers should we be looking at, you know, Shaka King directs Judas and the Black Messiah. Regina King just got a Golden Globe nomination for One Night in Miami.
I saw that. Yeah, that's amazing.
So happy for her. I mean, there's just so many creatives right now that are putting out quality stuff. I mean, George C. Wolfe with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Tessa Thompson and Nnamdi Asomugha and Sylvie's Love.
I heard that Ma Rainey, they're going to give them like an Oscar or something. Did you hear that?
No, they're not. No, I have not heard that because
Chadwick got nominated for 4 nominations, right?
For Ma Rainey.
You're talking about the Golden Globes. The Globes were announced a couple of days ago.
Right.
Okay.
Both Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman was actually nominated for Best Actor for the Golden Globes for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but then he was nominated yesterday by the Screen Actors Guild, and they nominated him twice. So he got nominated, of course, for Best Actor for Ma Rainey, but he also got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for The Five Bloods. Right. So, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting year, and I think, you know, one of the conversations I'm going to be having this weekend on my show is when we start talking about the Best Actress race for the Academy Awards. Viola Davis, Frances McDormand.
She is amazing. Oh my gosh.
Carey Mulligan, and I think Vanessa Kirby are going to be 4 of the 5 locks. Yesterday, the Screen Actors Guild shocked everybody by nominating Amy Adams for Hillbilly Elegy, and I just was like, really? I just shook my head. You passed over Andra Day and you passed over Zendaya, who I think is fantastic, and Malcolm and Marie. So every year, you know, we have these sort of strange decisions. The Five Bloods got shut out yesterday. They didn't, I mean, outside of, let me take that back. Outside of, no. It was I'm getting my awards confused. My apologies. The Screen Actors Guild nominated Chadwick Boseman yesterday for Five Bloods, but the Golden Globes completely shut out the Five Bloods, which I was like, no Delroy Lindo, no Spike Lee, no Chadwick Boseman. I'm like, wow. So it happens every year in these awards that despite the fact that I talked about the historic year of African Americans, so many quality films this year, and you still are not getting the recognition that I think we should be getting. We're still not on par right now, and I think they need to continue to diversify their voting academy or their body of voters in order to have the awards reflect kind of what the country looks like. And what that means is that I'm not really complaining about these choices, as I watch all these films as well. But as I said, I just think that there's superior performances, and the reason and the fact that I'm getting so many of them right, why aren't all my choices right?
That's
because
right.
again, you know,
Exactly.
that, you know, we should have all Black folks in these award spaces, but when there's someone who is giving a performance, and I challenge anybody watching this show right now, you go watch Hillbilly Elegy on Netflix and then watch the U.S. versus Billie Holiday.
Well, you know, I'm for everybody. I'm voting for everybody Black. So whatever. That's me. I'm just teaming for everybody Black. That's you get my.
What do you do when there are two Black people in the same category, though?
I'm voting for everybody Black. I don't care if you whatever it is, whatever it is, you Black, I'm voting for it. That's me.
But you know, there's a lot of talk about Andra Day doing Billie Holiday. I'm really excited to see her in that role. She was talking on, I think, CBS Sunday morning about it, and the emotion, you know, that she had to put into that role. It kind of reminded me. You could tell what Chadwick did Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, that the emotion.
Oh my God, that
was
amazing.
And that's what we're gonna see with Andra Day. Not only her vocals, but the emotion that she had to put into that role.
Did you watch that Ma Rainey? Karen, did you watch that?
I'm a moviegoer. Yeah, the day it came out.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And so I really want to know. So maybe because I'm not a moviegoer like Karen or Tim. How are they going to recognize Chadwick Boseman for his contribute to that? How are they going to do? Because he's no longer with us. He's no longer with us. So how are they going to
recognize him by nominating? First of all, I was having this conversation a couple of days ago. Does he really have a shot to win? And he's probably going to be nominated against people like Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Stephen Yeun for Minari. I mean, it's funny because people always ask me, how do you guys know who these nominees are? It's easy because we've watched all these movies and we kind of understand. So I'm still questioning whether Chadwick is going to win. He's going to get nominated, at least for Best Actor.
How would you if he's not there? How would they recognize him? He can't go get his. If they say, "Oh, Chadwick Boseman gets the award,"
that's a good question. If he wins, well, I mean,
is his wife going to take the award?
Like, again, let's look at the historical aspect. Last time this happened was in 2009 when Heath Ledger won the Oscar after he died for playing in The Dark Knight. And I want to say, I don't remember who went up there. I don't know if it was Christopher Nolan or if it was his wife. I don't remember. It may have been his wife. So in a case like that, his wife is going to get nominated. I mean, it's going to be invited in his place. And I would assume that either someone from the film or his wife, or maybe even both, if he wins, will go up to accept the award and speak on his behalf. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I was just really wondering, like, how would that all play out?
Matter of fact, the first test is going to be at the Golden Globes because, as I said, he's nominated for Best Actor. So yes, she will actually go in his place and sit at the table with all the entire cast of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And in the event that he wins, which for Best Actor, I don't know. I mean, that's my assumption. I mean, I don't know.
And so when he was going through all his struggles, I think that um Viola Davis was in contact with his wife, which is why she said anything before he actually passed away. Did you realize that, Karen?
No, I didn't see her say
Like
anything. No one has said anything.
no, she said, like, she posted a picture of him saying, "I wish you to get through all of this, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, what is going on? Like, and then like weeks or two later, that's when he passed away. So I think she knew what was going on. And then because I think that they had a really close relationship or something, like kind of like you or me. Like if something's going on, I'm gonna be like, I don't feel good today, like that type of stuff. And I think that she had that kind of relationship with him. And that's 2 weeks later he passed away. And then she said nothing about it
Well,
on
he
her
was a very
social
private
media.
person, so he, people held,
I mean, I didn't even know.
close.
Right, I didn't even know he was married. I didn't even know he was married until he passed away.
Right.
I thought he was a bachelor.
No, yeah, I knew he had been in a relationship.
He had a wife, and I think he had a kid, right?
No, he don't have no children. No children.
No, okay.
No,
So
no
so he was very, very private with his life. But then that's why I was asking Tim. I was just like, how are they going to do this for him if he gets nominated? If he gets nominated, number one. Two, if he wins it, who's gonna go up there and say thank you for the award or that type of thing?
Probably his wife or
it's probably his wife. He's been honored a couple times, and she has been present to accept his honor recently. I know something he was honored for as well. So
a couple of nights ago, he, as a member of the Critics' Choice Association, we had our celebration of Black cinema, and they honored Chadwick Boseman.
Right.
George C. Wolfe, the director of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, spoke on his behalf, because I was wondering the same thing. I was like, well, who's going to speak for Chadwick? And all he
exactly
did accepted, and just they moved on, and they didn't really make a huge deal out of it, but. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge loss, man, and it still continues to reverberate, considering Black Panther, considering some of the other projects that Chadwick Boseman was going to work on. So we miss that brother, man.
It's going to be for it's
that's going to be it's a big loss. So going back to Black Panther, they're saying that the girl, the little black girl, I forget her name in Black Panther.
Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri.
She's going to take over as
not necessarily.
The Black Panther.
No, not necessarily.
Michael B. Jordan back as well.
Yeah.
Killmonger, because what they're going to do, and people are going, what do you mean they bringing him back? Marvel's in the middle right now of this new phase in their universe right now, where Doctor Strange, I think later this year, there's a movie called Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse. And in the multiverse, that means that multiple universes. Spider-Man, they did this a couple of years ago when what was it called? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or something like that. So there's a different universe that not Chadwick, but Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger, still may live in. So they're going to figure out a way to write him back into it. So,
but I thought that Black Panther killed Michael Jordan.
In this universe.
In this universe, you have to be a comic book follover too.
Okay, that's messing me up.
Yeah, the comic book version has the multiverse. It has the verse that Tim is talking about. It's a multiverse.
It's a multiverse. So remember, did you see Avengers Endgame?
I did.
Yes.
You remember? Well, they set it up in Infinity Wars where Doctor Strange sat there and went into a trance and said that he saw 14,365 options, and only one was the one that the Avengers wanted. So at the end, the one reality he saw was Iron Man taking the glove from Thanos and snapping everybody out of existence. So these are different universes, which is how they're gonna be able to bring characters who are dead back. Because I understand that Evans is coming back, who was Captain America. So they're bringing him back in some shape, fashion, or form. So Anthony, if you didn't read the comic books, it doesn't make a lot of sense, man.
It'll never make sense.
I didn't read comic books.
And a lot of people, there's a huge population of comic book culture.
I didn't either.
No, but I'm just going by what from the movie.
That's what people who watch the movie,
killed him. How can he come back?
Right, and that's why people who watch the movie are going to be having the same reaction that you have. And then the comic book people are going to go, you don't follow the comic book.
it's like we talk about WandaVision.
How would I know? How would I know that? How would I know?
Watch this. Anthony would watch WandaVision and go, how is Vision on this show?
Correct, because he was dead in the dead game. Right, exactly.
Hey, man, I told you, don't try to make too much sense out of it. Just go with it.
Marvel and DC Comics are their own world.
I was just trying to make sense of it. I was like, okay, how is Michael B. Jordan coming back when Black Panther killed him? Like, he threw him in this like mountain of whatever. I don't know. He threw him there.
Don't worry. By the time you see the movie, you'll be like, oh, that was nice. That made a lot of sense.
So let's talk real quick about Judas and the Black Messiah before we go to break with Kelly.
He talked about that a little bit.
We want to do your review on Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh man,
you did
really?
A review on that.
Judas and the Black Messiah, of course, I remember seeing the trailer, Karen, and not being impressed at all because I knew the history and read several books about the Black Panther Party and very steeped in that period. And when I first saw that first trailer, I was like, I said, unless he does a Denzel Washington, Malcolm X transformation, this is not going to work for me. And when I saw the film, the first thing that jumped out is director Shaka King's recreation of that time period in Chicago, the late 1960s, early 1970s. You see Fred Hampton, Kahlua, who clearly put on some weight and muscle to play Fred Hampton because Hampton was kind of an imposing figure. I thought the screenplay works really, really well. I thought that the story, Lakeith Stanfield as William O'Neill, who's the criminal who turns informant, who's infiltrated into the Illinois Black Panther chapter headquarters. I thought that worked well. I thought Kahlua was fantastic in this film. Everything about this works, and then they build up to, the scenes you see in the trailer. I am a revolutionary, and it's a very powerful performance, very impactful film. I thought, the history is, he was assassinated by the police who shot. In the film, they say it's 99 rounds, but history has told us it was over 400 rounds that they shot in Fred Hampton's house while he lay in bed with him and his girlfriend. And it is just a very, very, I use the word impactful and powerful because it's just an amazing experience to relive what Fred Hampton had to deal with. So it drops next Friday. I gave it an A in my review. I love this film. I gave Malcolm and Marie an A today. Love that film. So
let's talk about the Coming to America 2. Have you seen that?
No, but they just released the second trailer a couple of days ago.
Yes, I heard that when I was driving somewhere yesterday. They released a second trailer. Yeah. What do you think about that? How do you feel about that, Tim?
Well, I feel a lot better about the movie now after watching the second trailer than I did the first trailer. Because the first trailer, I was like, I said, "Is this what we're doing?"
Wait a minute. Wow.
First trailer was horrible.
The first trailer
so what happened?
Well, what happened is that they rushed out a first trailer that had a lot of scenes that we saw in the original film.
Correct.
That Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall were just 30 years older. And I was like, that's it? This is what we're doing? So the second trailer lays the story out and shows a lot more of what they're trying to do.
And continues the story.
And it looks funny. It looks like it's going to be funny.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
The Amazon rep a couple of days ago. I said, man, all these movies we've had to watch over the last several months have been like Black trauma. You're dealing with trauma in Ma Rainey, trauma in Judas, trauma in Malcolm and Marie, trauma in Billie Holiday.
So do they
like,
have do they have Cheryl Lee Ralph on for
no idea if Cheryl Lee Ralph is
because I got a crush on Cheryl Lee Ralph.
What is she playing in the first one?
She is so beautiful to me.
Was she in the first?
She wasn't in the first.
Yes, she was doing the little hop.
No, that's not Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Calloway.
That right.
Oh, really? Whoever that is, I got a crush on you. Okay.
Yes, she's in it. She's in the second trailer. I know, Tim. I'm like, who?
I was like, Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Yeah, I'm like, we missed that part.
I thought that was Cheryl Lee Ralph when she says she's a queen to be. All that.
It's really sad. I know Vanessa Bell Calloway pretty well, and I wish
I got a crush on her.
She would be like, who?
Whoever that is, I got a crush on you. Okay.
Man, yeah, Vanessa Bell Calloway.
The second trailer was better. I agree, Tim. I laughed pretty hard at the second trailer
The second trailer gave me hope, and I said, "It's the film we need right now."
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's close out.
Let's go to break.
Let's go to break, and let's go to Kelly Maven Media. Let's go to Kelly. Kelly, are you ready?
Hi, everyone. This is Kelly Maven Media with your news and culture on Behind the Mind radio show. And Tim, I would love to talk about Hillbilly Elegy. I had so many questions, but I watched it and it was pretty good. So today we are talking about social entrepreneurship and how some of the companies that are really knee deep in it, and how you could probably try to model that for your organization. And as consumers, how we can try to support these organizations who are taking this approach. So many of you are familiar with Warby Parker if you wear glasses, and we know that Warby Parker has given away about 100 million glasses at this point. Their model is basically taking a percentage of their proceeds and profits and giving a percentage to nonprofits that provide glasses for underserved communities. But I didn't know this about Paul Newman's own. Like, I'm going to start using their ranch dressing and some of his sausage because he gives away all of his profits.
You didn't know that, Kelly?
No.
I exclusively buy all of his dressings.
I will definitely be getting involved with some of his stuff, and he has a lot of stuff.
That's the only dressing that I buy, and they have cocktail sauce, by the way.
I don't like cocktail sauce. I don't want any of that. But yeah, I'm going to try some of the other stuff. So there's Shea Moisture. You know, there was some a dust up with Shea Moisture like 2 years ago because of some of the imagery and optics in their advertising, because their foundation and their base audience has been African American women, and they felt a little sold out once you started kind of expanding beyond and changing their focus and changing the products when they were so good for African American hair. But what they also do is give back a great deal in Africa, because the founders are from Sierra Leone. They have $1 million fund for Black and women-owned businesses. They give a lot to agricultural programs in Africa and things like that.
Speaking of hair, we love your hair today, Kelly. Love the hair today.
That's right, fine. And we all know about Tom's. Tom's a slide-on shoe company. They give away. They're like a 1-for-1 company. Basically, they give away a pair of shoes every time someone buys a pair of shoes. So if you can come up with some sort of model like that in your company, you know, to impact community, but also continue to drive your profits, it could be a great benefit to your company. Let's talk about people who aren't poop, though. Let's shift over to people who aren't doing things for our society. And those are the people who are taking the red filter off of the red silhouette challenge. So if many of you have seen the silhouette challenge, it's the music behind it is Paul Anka's Put Your Head on My Shoulders.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Remix. But what's happening is some of the women, it was started for body positivity. And so many of the women who are here doing it, no matter your size, are taking this video, and it puts a red light silhouette over your video. But some tech guys or gals, I'm going to say guys probably, have
it's guys. From what I've read, Kelly, it's guys.
Most likely. Yeah, but they figured out a way to remove the filter.
They're being freak nasty.
And it's inappropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's totally
and I'm just like, why are you doing that?
Right. So these people are poop. And just be careful, ladies out there participating in these kind of things. Just be mindful of the drawbacks that could happen a little bit later. And in Black history, and in line with the wonderful things Tim is talking about. Tim, you are it. Like, I never read reviews. I never pay attention to people's opinions on things because I feel like you should form your own. But every movie that I've seen since I've been hearing your reviews and things like that, they have been on point. And so with this season happening, you know, we have had some of our icons pass, and even some of our younger stars like a Chadwick Boseman and like a Cicely Tyson. So I just want to say, you know, support Black film. Right now, you know, there was a time when our impact has only been about sports and entertainment and things like that. And we seem to belittle that. Like, it's not a gift to be able to get up in front of people and do the job that many of Black people are doing. And so I just want to shout out all the people struggling in the entertainment industry, all the pioneers, all the Black people who have contributed to making this industry what it is. And people like you too, Tim, who give the spotlight on Black actors, on Black movies and things of that nature. We need your voice, and we need you to keep doing what you're doing on your platform. And finally, I threw this story in. I did not tell Karen and Anthony about. I want to say happy birthday to Karen Baker. Karen is Black history to me. She is like a mentor, one of my closest friends, just an amazing person, leader, advocate. Just everything.
Birthday.
And I just want to wish you the happiest birthday, and I hope you have an amazing weekend.
I appreciate it.
This is Kelly Maven Media with your news and culture on Behind the Mind Radio Show. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Kelly. Yes. And then we also celebrated Kelly's 1-year anniversary of being part of Behind the Mind Radio Show. She came on last February of 2020. And has been an amazing contributor to the show. So we appreciate
she really has. I thank you so much, Kelly. You are so special to me. I thank you for being here. Thank you.
I appreciate you all. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
So Tim, let's talk about Sundance. You know, just wrapped up on February 3rd. What are some of the buzzes that came out of it, of films that people were like just talking about? I know Judas and the Black Messiah was one, but what are some other films?
Yeah, Tim, you're muted. Tim.
Somebody muted me. All right.
Okay, there you go.
I was saying Judas and the Black Messiah shouldn't have been at Sundance anyway. That was like a special feature. But the Sundance films, the one that kind of won multiple awards and sold for $25 million, breaking Nate Parker's Birth of a Nation record, was Coda.
Wow.
$25 million.
That's a lot of money.
That they sold that movie for. And I think Amazon bought it. I want to say it was Amazon for $25 million. I might be wrong. Also, the other big winner was Questlove's documentary, Summer of Soul, A Revolution Will Not Be Televised, that was sold for $15 million. That one got sold for, or $12 million. I'm not sure what the figure is. I'm looking at it right now, but I think that was another key pickup. There were a lot of movies that played at Sundance. For the first time since 2014, I did not cover Sundance exclusively as I normally would do, but I had contributors who kind of submitted their work to our site that we posted reviews. So, you know, Gerard Carmichael had a movie there, Countdown 3, 2, 1. That was a hot film that I think a lot of people got into. It was just, like I said, Karen, at the onset, it was just a very different year, and doing Sundance in this way, I'm not going to say it diminished Sundance, but it was just a very different experience of, you know, trying to stay locked in front of a computer to watch movies, to kind of simulate kind of you being there in the theater watching movies at a direct time and then moving from movie to movie. So
yeah, it is difficult. Yeah, I could see that. That's one reason even I looked at participating. You know, I wasn't sure because I was like, again, you just kind of on screen, I guess, you know what I'm saying, for long periods of time watching films. And I said, well, I think I'll just, you know, wait till some of them come out to actually see them.
Right. So let's talk about, like, you normally would like fraternize with people, all that good stuff when you're at Sundance Festival. How did that happen this time, Tim? Did they have like little happy hours that you did over Zoom, or hangout things that you did over some other platform? Can you talk about that?
Well, like I said, I didn't participate this year. So, I mean, from what I understand, you know, I just checked the reviews and did things of that nature. But I was told that Sundance had a really strong platform. and what they, that was much different from some of the other platforms. I did participate in the Middleburg Film Festival that was virtual. You heard me say earlier with my own festival, I'm just like, the whole virtual thing doesn't necessarily work for me because festivals are more interactive and you need to be around people. So going to a virtual film festival, even though I have one and I want you to attend later, I am not a big advocate of a.
You have to do a plug for it. You have to do a plug for it.
Yeah, Karen called it the Lakeview Film Festival.
I thought it was Lakeview. What is it? I thought it was.
It's called the Lakefront Film Festival.
I'm sorry.
Lakeview
That's
Terrace.
my fault. I'm glad you corrected me. Don't let that hang out there. You should have corrected me when I said it.
Well, no, that's not what I do. But our festival is in July. I think it's the 22nd through the 25th. So we are.
I know it's the summertime. Yeah.
Right. And I just got a text message from somebody, which will make Anthony happy, that the latest episode of WandaVision now is putting the X-Men in the MCU. So the X-Men will be coming to Marvel officially again.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I'm still not a comic person. So maybe I need to read up on the comics so that I can have the references.
No, I wouldn't advise that. What I would advise is if you had like a week or two or maybe a month to sit down and watch all 22 of the Marvel movies in order. I'm not very serious.
That's a lot.
Watch this. Watch all 22 of the movies, and by the time you get to the end, by the time the next Marvel movie comes out, you'll be right there. You'll be like, okay, I understand exactly what they're doing because what Marvel has done is they made a big quilt, and like all these movies are all interconnected into each other, and all.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It's actually because I'm not a comic person either, but I understand the MCU and what the stories they're telling. Because everything they're doing now is based off of something that has come before it. So
So as a child, my mother and my father never let me watch or never let me have comic books because they said they were too racy.
Oh, you one of them? Okay.
My mother and father never let me because somebody might have had like some underwear on versus like some clothes or whatever. So my mother and my father never let me have.
They could have been viewed as graphic in certain nature.
They were. But that's why.
So my mother and father never let me have comic books. So that's why I don't have the references that you and Karen are talking about right now.
Yeah, I only have it because of my son, and we handpick some of what he sees because of the fact that some of them are graphic, because they have graphic comic book novels that they call them, and then they have ones that over time they develop ones that are a little more age appropriate.
So if it was a comic book, my mother and my father would not let me have it. So they didn't go through it like you, Karen. Okay, they didn't say, "Oh, is."
But at that time, I don't think they were available in versions of child friendly type of thing anyway. So they did right because they were graphic. They were graphic novels.
Because I bought one with like a little piece of money that I had, and I was like, oh, I was seeing underwear and all this type of stuff, and they was like, oh, I was like, I see why they did not let me have this.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that's $12 million for Questlove.
It was $12 million.
Which broke the record of 10.5 for the documentary. So the record for features was Parker 17.5, which is now 25 for Coda. So yes, that's the Sundance kind of. I wanted to make sure I got that information out to people.
So let's shift real quick to TV because I don't want to lose time as well. So
yes, because we're closing. We need to close up, Karen.
The breakout success stories of TV. So Lovecraft Country was one for me for 2020, but 2020, is there stuff for 2021 that you know is coming that we should be looking for?
Well, you got Queen Sugar that's going to be
dropping
in the next week or so. I'm trying to think of what else. Insecure is last season's about to start.
So wait. Their last season, she's going to close it out.
Yeah,
Anthony, that's what last season means.
Yeah.
Oh HBO doesn't allow. I love that show.
But HBO usually doesn't go past 6 to 7 seasons on their show.
I love that show.
This will be 5.
Yeah, they don't go long. They don't allow shows to last like that.
Also be on the lookout for a sleeper show, P Valley.
P Valley.
P-Valley, and the P stands exactly for what you think it stands for. Story about a strip club in Mississippi. And
P-Valley.
Goings. I discovered this show and somebody I know said, man, you need to watch P-Valley. And when I watched it, I went, oh yeah, that's a pretty good show. So it's on Stars.
I was going to say it's on Stars. Yeah, I've seen the title, but I was like, okay, is this exactly what I'm thinking it is? So let me.
Oh yeah, look. Yeah, that's what you think it is.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else because it's early right now. I'm not really sure exactly what's coming. I just know at some point I'm hoping Atlanta comes back. I just don't know when or if it'll come back, but it should.
And the seasons are off a little bit TV wise. Things are starting later and putting on for very long pauses, like 3-month pauses when they normally would be back on by now.
Queen Sugar normally drops in the summer, and if Queen Sugar is dropping like 9 months later, that tells you how to off the TV.
Yeah, very true.
So what's next for Tim Gordon? Let's talk about that.
Man, Tim Gordon has got the 21st Annual Black Reel Awards. We're announcing nominations on the 18th. And I'm going to be, since it's your show, I'm going to try to be as politically correct as possible. After the baffling,
you don't have to. You can just you can cuss and fuss all you want.
No. Watch this. After the baffling nominations of the Image Awards this week. The pressure is on our organization in order for people because they're looking toward us to really get it right. And our reputation is always that our critics and the folks who are industry folk who vote on our awards normally have seen all these films. So I'm very anxious myself because I don't vote on my own awards. So I'm anxious to see which films that we're going to nominate this year because they've seen U.S. versus Billie Holiday. They've seen Judas and the Black Messiah. They've seen Malcolm and Marie, and they've seen everything else. So I'm really looking forward to our nominations. And then, as I said, also a film festival coming up a little later in the year. And I just got movies, man. That's all I ever do, man. I got Sidney Poitier on to my left as we're doing the show. I'm watching a movie, doing the show. So I've trained myself that I can do, as Barack Obama once said, I can do more than one thing at a time.
Okay. Like it. Wonderful.
So before we close out, Tim, how did documentaries fare? Because it seemed like documentaries had a really good year last year.
Oh, it was a really good year, man. I mean, there's one called Time by Garrett Bradley that it's on Amazon. If you have not checked out that story, you should. All In, the Stacey Abrams documentary, which actually ended up being really prophetic considering what happened in Georgia on January the 5th, how that state turned blue. You had Mr. Soul by a friend of mine named Melissa Hazlett that I thought was a really good documentary. There were so many really good docs. Good Trouble, the John Lewis documentary by Dawn Porter, which it was announced yesterday that another filmmaker friend of mine, Dion Taylor, if you saw Fatale, that came out in December, is going to be directing Freedom Summer, the John Lewis biopic, as a movie. So they announced that yesterday.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's so many great stories, Karen, that, and I hate to try to rush through a lot of this stuff, but the sit-in with
well, you have to come on for more than once a year. How about that?
You guys make the call. You said I've been on more than any other guest. I can branch
Karen,
out.
we need to have.
Yeah,
so
you
he
can
can
branch out
have a
for
little.
sure.
He can have a little bit more time. One thing that I do want to ask you, Tim. Anybody living or dead? I want you to answer this question. Anybody living or dead? Who would you have lunch with?
Malcolm X.
Okay, why?
He's my guy, man. I mean, I look at these movies and you think about the 1960s, which I think is probably the most pivotal decade of the 20th century. Malcolm is just such a fascinating guy. I mean, if you read the autobiography that he wrote with Alex Haley, Malcolm went through so many transformations in his life. I just think he's just an amazing individual. So I would love to sit down and just listen to Malcolm over a lunch, man. And, he's probably not going to have any pork.
Of course, but what? Of course not. But what would be one of the questions that you ask him? What would be one of the questions that you ask him?
You know what? I mean, that's a really good question, and nobody's ever asked me that before. I don't know. I mean, I just want him to kind of talk to me.
You just want him to spill it out, but yeah. How would he start spilling it out, Tim? You have to give him a question, and then he goes into something else. So what will be one of the questions that you would ask him?
I mean, talk to me about your life. I mean, tell me about who you are. I mean, I know what the perception says, but who are you?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
You've said, and you know what? Let me say this to you, Tim. Every time you've had that question posed, you stay with Malcolm. So you have not changed.
Man, I mean,
so kudos to you, because it has not changed for you. Malcolm X is who you.
Malcolm is my guy, man. I mean, yeah. I was watching a film a couple of days ago that opened called Son of the South. And it was about the nonviolent movement. And I think my lady looked over at me and said, "Could you have done that?" I said, "Hell no. I'd have probably been a Black Panther, been down with Malcolm X if I would have been of age." Hell no.
I would have been. I think I would have been a Black Panther too. I think Karen would have been one too. We go because they had ladies in the Black Panther movement.
I
would have been like, "Give me a leather jacket and a gun." All
that's right.
And give me the black red.
So let's bring Kelly on. We're going to close out the show.
All right, Miss Kelly.
Hey, there she is. Hey, Kelly. Happy birthday, Karen.
Thank you so much. Again, everyone, thanks again for tuning in to the 9th anniversary of Behind the Mind radio show. We again thank We Act Radio for giving us this platform continuously to be on every single week.
Yes, and I would love everyone to give their birthday wishes to me so you can send them to her, because people are looking at us, Karen, right now. They're looking at us. I think all the people from my Facebook platform, my Instagram platform, they're looking at us right now. And I want you to say happy birthday to Karen, and I want Kelly to close out. All right, Kelly.
Okay, well, happy birthday to you, Karen. It was great having you on again, Tim, and all of your wisdom. I wish you the best with your festival. Everyone have a great weekend. This is Behind the Mind radio show, the 9th anniversary. Don't forget to catch the replay at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you. See you on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Thank you.
We Act Radio. We Act Radio. Behind the Mind, we want to hear from people that find the time to think and create these fine designs and then turn them into real product lines. So call us up, Behind the Mind. We want to hear from people that find the time to think and create these fine designs and then turn them into real product lines. So call us